Hello guys, welcome back. My name's Nathan, and today I'm going to be discussing my 10 bold NHL predictions for the 2019-20 season. Now, with every new NHL season, there is always unexpected stuff that ends up happening. Whether it's a random player that ends up breaking out into a star, or a playoff contender that ends up slipping out of the playoff race, there's always crazy stuff that happens. But when it comes to my 10 bold predictions, what insane and unexpected stuff do I see happening next NHL season? Watch till the end to find out. Now, parity in the NHL is one of the main reasons why hockey is so great. Last year we saw some crazy stuff happen, stuff like the New York Islanders rising to be a great NHL team, and the St. Louis Blues winning the Stanley Cup. This next NHL season should be no different. We should still see a lot of new stuff, and a lot of bold stuff happening too. Now, we're going to start out today with my first bold prediction for the 2019-20 season. We're going to start out with the Art Ross race. And this is a race that I think a lot of people right now are saying is pretty much Connor McDavid's race to lose. And right now, I think Connor McDavid might have the best chance at it, but I think there will be another player that ends up winning the Art Ross trophy just like last season. And that'll be my first bold prediction for today. I predict that Connor McDavid will not win the Art Ross trophy, which I don't know if it should be a bold take, but again, I see a lot of people still having Connor McDavid as the slam dunk guy to get the most points in the league next year. To me, it's between probably three guys right now: Nikita Kucherov, Austin Matthews, and Nathan MacKinnon. Those are the three guys I see winning it besides Connor McDavid, and obviously Connor McDavid will be in that race anyways. Going on to my number 2 bold prediction for the 2019-20 season, I have the Carolina Hurricanes and them winning the Metropolitan Division. Now, some people might say this is a crazy take, and it might just be a little bit, but hear me out. Now, going back to last season, the Carolina Hurricanes in my predictions last year were a fringe playoff team. I didn't see them making the playoffs, but I saw them being a decent team. And it took a while throughout that season for them to really get going into that playoff contender. But as the year went on, they got slowly better and better. The team started to gel really weirdly, and they became a fun team with the Storm Surge and all the new stuff they were doing with the fans too. They became a fun team to watch, even when they were kind of in the middle of the pack. And in that second half, when they added guys like Niederreiter, they just exploded. That fan base exploded too. It was amazing to see. And the Carolina Hurricanes last season obviously went to the Eastern Conference Final way farther than anybody predicted. And I think the Carolina Hurricanes are here to stay. Some people might say they should be outside the playoffs next year, but to me, I totally disagree with that. And Carolina won't be without their struggles next season. Having Justin Williams kind of semi-retiring will be a big blow to that team right now, but I still think they'll be able to win that Metro. It'll be super close between them and the Washington Capitals, but I think they will get it done. Last year, they kind of convinced me that they are a team to beat right now, and that offense and defense together is just too good to be true right now. When it comes to Carolina, again, they're a team that could go either way, but right now, I see them being pretty good next year. Going into my third bold prediction for the 2019-20 season, now relating to the Vegas Golden Knights and Mark Stone. This one on Mark Stone being a dominant one. In my opinion, for my third bold prediction, I see Mark Stone being a Hart Trophy finalist by the end of the year. Now, Mark Stone, obviously starting with the Ottawa Senators, he was a late round pick by them, I think back in like 2010 or something. He was a late round pick, and he worked his way in Ottawa, always was a good offensive player when healthy, but that was the problem. He was never really totally fully healthy in Ottawa, but I think this will change this next season. With Vegas, I'm hoping he does stay healthy, because if he does, I think he'll be amazing. And again, going back to the Hart Trophy debate, I think he'll be top 3. Now, Mark Stone really convinced me as a great player back in the 2017-2018 season. With Ottawa, played 58 games and got 62 points. Wasn't completely healthy, unfortunately, but when he was electrifying. And one of Ottawa's best players behind Erik Karlsson. Last year, played with both Ottawa and Vegas, got 77 games played, 33 goals, 40 assists for 73 points. Now, obviously, a ton of that was with the bad Ottawa Senators, and he was a big reason why the Ottawa team wasn't as bad as some people may have expected, but with Vegas in the regular season was just even more dominant, and the playoffs just went to a superstar level. Points-wise and on the ice, he was dominant, and next year, I definitely see that translating. Going to my fourth bold prediction for the 2019-20 season, sticking in the Pacific Division, I have the Calgary Flames. And this bold prediction about them missing the playoffs. Now, when it comes to Calgary, They are a team that I would love to see make the playoffs next year, but I really don't feel it next year. I just don't see them as a playoff team right now. I see them as one of the best teams to miss the playoffs, but a team that just does not get it done. And as a Calgary Flames fan, a guy that likes the Calgary Flames, they are the definition of inconsistent. Throughout the regular season, seem like a great team with great offensive skills and some good luck goaltending-wise. But in the playoffs versus the Colorado Avalanche, they were a different team. And this next season, I just don't get the greatest vibe from them. They didn't really make too many big improvements, too. I mean, they traded for Milan Lucic, which, I don't know about you, Calgary, that doesn't seem like an improvement to me. And some of you guys know, Dallas is my first favorite team, but I've had a soft spot in my heart for Calgary for a while. My dad's from Calgary. I lived in Calgary for about a year when I was younger. I want to see the Calgary Flames be a playoff team once again next year. But to me, if I had to bet, I would say Calgary is more of the playoff team they showed last year versus Colorado, rather than the regular season team they showed. Again, the lack of improvements, the lack of changes, and having Matthew Tkachuk still unsigned at this point, just kind of gives some red flags to me. No pun intended. Going on to my fifth bold take for the 2019-20 season, we're going to stick with the Calgary Flames and onto Matthew Tkachuk. And with the whole RFA extravaganza, I think there's one RFA that people are kind of holding under the radar to possibly go into November or maybe even December as a holdout. That being Matthew Tkachuk. He's a guy that we really haven't heard too much about the negotiations between him and Calgary. And he's a guy that I think quietly could end up going into the season, but not just end the season, but very far into the season. He's a guy, and when it comes to the news, we haven't heard too much on the dollar amount or the years. Right now, it seems like both parties are kind of non-existent when it comes to contract negotiations. And when it comes to Calgary possibly being a playoff team next season, that worries me quite a bit. Now getting into my sixth bold prediction for the 2019-20 season. For my sixth prediction, I'm predicting that Sam Steele, Anaheim Ducks prospect, will be top 3 and in the Calder Trophy contention next season. Now, when it comes to Anaheim Ducks, they have a great youthful core and a great prospect pool right now, and Sam Steele is one of the best in that prospect pool and might be the most NHL-ready one too. Next year, I think he'll do tons of damage and could get quite a bit of ice time too on Anaheim. They're not the greatest offensive team, and I feel like there's a big hole in Anaheim for him to get lots of opportunity and a solid chance at that Calder Trophy. Now, dating back to 2016 and on to the 2016 NHL draft, where Anaheim ended up selecting Sam Steele with the 30th overall pick with their first round pick. But that first round pick was originally Toronto's. They ended up sending that first away in the Freddie Anderson deal. So going back, Toronto could have potentially had Sam Steele. But with the Anaheim Ducks, Anaheim is proud to have him, as they should. One of the better prospects in hockey right now, especially offensively, has slowly worked his way up into the NHL level. Played quite a few games last year of Anaheim, was really good as well offensively, and next year can take that next step up. Was with Regina of the OHL, just blew it up, went to the AHL and was fantastic, and right now to me is ready for that next step for Anaheim and could get a big opportunity too, right above Henrique and right behind Getzlaf. Now moving into my seventh bold prediction for the 2019-20 season, now getting to the Boston Bruins and David Pastrnak. For my next bold prediction, I see David Pastrnak reaching 100 points next season. And to me, this has been a little bit of a long time coming. Last year, he set his new career pace for points in a season with 81, but also missed quite a few games, only playing 66 of them last year. I think this next season, Pastrnak solidifies himself as an offensive stud in this league and one of the best in the group. I think he will reach 100 next year and be absolutely dominant for the Boston Bruins. Now, Pastrnak has been a good player for a long time, dating back to when he was at age 18 in the NHL, back in the 2015 season, got 46 games playing and 27 points. The next year got 26 points, then after that got 70 points, and then 80 points, and then this past year got 81 points in 66 games. This next season is another year where I think he just jumps offensively. He was already an elite player offensively in this league, but I think he'll get even better as well. It does depend on the health of guys like Brad Marchand and obviously Patrice Bergeron, obviously, but I think when it comes to Pastrnak, he'll be lethal next season. At age 23, he's right in the prime of his career and primed for maybe the best season of his career so far. Now, getting into my 8th bold prediction for the 2019-20 season, it's an unpopular one, but I guess that's why it's a bold opinion, so I'm going to go with it anyways. That being Erik Karlsson, and in my opinion, he'll be the defenseman that scores the most points next year. Now, this completely goes on health, because if he's at the same kind of 80% level he was last season, I don't think he'll be able to get it done either way. So this will depend on health, but if he is 100%, I'm going to bet money, even though I'm 16 and can't do that. I'm going to bet hockey cards that he'll get the most points next season for defenseman. And again, it's kind of just a gut feeling. He'll have a lot of competition next year. I mean, he has a lot of competition on his own team with guys like Brent Burns. And going back to when he was on Ottawa, he was still one of my favorite players in the NHL. Just an offensive dynamo and was solid defensively too. Hopefully we can start to see that kind of Ottawa Erik Karlsson with the San Jose Sharks. I still think he was great last season and deserved a lot more Norris contention than they got, but again, I think there's more room for him to grow, and there's still a better player in there somewhere. Hopefully the leg issues and all of that does clear up, because if he is healthy and ready to go, San Jose will be great again next season. Going into my 9th bold prediction for the 2019-20 season, this now having to do with the Nashville Predators and their goaltending situation. Now next year, I see it kind of shifting in a big way. For my bold prediction, I say Juuse Saros plays more games next season than Pekka Rinne. And this one is probably one of the more bolder ones of these 10, because Pekka Rinne kind of not getting the starter job will be quite unexpected, but next year I could definitely see it happening. Pekka Rinne right now is at age 36, not getting younger whatsoever, didn't have the greatest year last year, and Juuse Saros is primed for that starter opportunity, and as I said on the channel in the past, is Nashville's next starter. Now going into my 10th and final bold prediction for the 2019-20 NHL season. This going to the Pittsburgh Penguins. And this one, while I've seen some people say the same prediction as me, it's not a hugely agreed upon opinion. When it comes to the Pittsburgh Penguins next season, I've seen some people saying they'll be in the same spot, if not better next season. I've seen some people say they'll be worse next season. But to me, when it comes to the Penguins, I think they'll end up missing the playoffs for the first time in a decade plus. Now, the Pittsburgh Penguins last year, I think, showed some big-time weakness. Like the Calgary Flames, they were absolutely brutal in the playoffs, and next year could be a bigger sign of things to come for them. I think when it comes to Pittsburgh and their direction, it's not headed in the greatest position, and Pittsburgh next season, I think, could be kind of the result of that. Now, when it comes to playoff streaks right now in the NHL, the Pittsburgh Penguins have far and away the biggest one right now with a 13-year playoff streak. The second is tied with both Washington and Nashville at 5 seasons. So Pittsburgh just blows it out of the water. But at some point, that playoff streak will have to come to an end. And I think when it comes to Pittsburgh, this next season could be the year that actually does end up happening. I think there are some telltale signs there. Those playoffs versus the Islanders was just absolutely horrific. All the key contributors throughout the season and just the last decade for them pretty much fell flat on their faces. Every single facet was terrible. And I don't think it'll be the same in the playoffs that it will be these next season, the regular season, but I don't think they'll be this great team or anything. And while I think they'll be close to the playoffs, I think they'll end up missing it. Now, dating back to last season, and even a little bit before that, when they lost to Washington in the second round, there was always just something a little bit off when it came to the Pittsburgh Penguins. I can never really put my finger on it, but these past playoffs, when they lost to the New York Islanders, I predicted them to go to the Eastern Conference Final. I thought they were going to go far because it would just be the most Pittsburgh Penguins thing ever. But they did the least Pittsburgh Penguins thing ever, going out in the first round and getting swept by the New York Islanders. It was a huge bracket buster for me, but it kind of opened my eyes to the reality of the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're not a good team right now. The defense is just terrible sometimes, and removing Chris Letang, hopefully he'll be healthy, but if he's removed on that defense, it's not good whatsoever. And I set a bet. I think I had a bet back when they traded for Erik Branson at the trade deadline that if they keep both of those defensemen, I think they'll end up missing the playoffs. They're both still on the roster, so I'll stick by my word on that. But of course, with this video, I need to hear your guys' thoughts down those comments down below. So let me know, what do you think about my 10 bold predictions for the 2019-2020 season? What do you agree and disagree with? And of course, the big question, what bold predictions do you have for this upcoming NHL season? But if you guys want some more Grav videos just like this one, you should click on this card right here to watch my video on my 5 Dark Horse Calder candidates for the 2019-20 season. Click it, trust me, it's worth it. But that'll be it for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Again, comment down below your thoughts on my bold predictions, what you agree and disagree with, and your bold predictions as well. Share this video with your friends, of course, if you haven't. We're almost at 8K as I'm recording this. But I'm Nathan, and I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Goodbye.